Hey, we just got off a call with William Tingle. It was a great call as usual. It's William's second time being on our show. He's been in the business over 30 years, and he's one of our most trusted advisors here at Small Market REI. His specialty is subject to investing, and he has a very unique way of doing subject to investing. He targets pre-foreclosures. He actually drives and knocks on the doors of pre-foreclosures. And he says if he knocks on 43 doors, he'll buy a house. So, some great stuff, some great nuggets. Hope you stick around to the end. Thank you for watching. Hey, welcome back for another small market session. We've got our good friend William Tingle with us today. He was on the show probably 6 months ago, 8 months ago, probably.
Yep, it's been a little bit.
And yeah, and well respected, been around the business a long time. Uh, if I'll say this, if you need any help with sub two and you're not getting it from us, we always recommend William. He's no nonsense. He's straightforward, and he'll give you the cold hard truth. And I think that's the best way to learn this business is to get it direct with no fluff. And so I give you William Tingle, and William, thank you for coming on and just kind of tell us what you're into these days after this 3 month trip. I watched a lot of your videos too, so I was checking you out.
I'll tell you, I'm 64 years old. I've been doing this for a really long time. We're coming up on 30 years doing this now. And I'm fortunate that I'm in a position where I don't work really hard anymore. We say now that we try to buy about a dozen houses a year, but the last couple of years we haven't done that many because we just don't have to. And that's the really cool thing about just like taking that vacation. Real estate funds all that, and while you're gone, the bills get paid. We still try to buy a few really good deals every year, and almost exclusively they're pre-foreclosures. To me, exactly is exactly what you said, David. I'm pretty straight to the point in everything I do. And over the years, we've targeted divorces and tax sales and all the things. But when you go after people that have a problem with, I call it a drop dead date, there's a finality to this problem. It's just not like, well, we need to sell our house in the next 2 or 3, whatever. These people have a date when something's got to be done. And that's what we like to focus on, situations like that. So we go out, we talk to these people. If there's any way that we can help them save their house, we will. No cost to them. We don't get paid for that, but that's just, giving back. That's just part of it. But if they want to get out or they've already abandoned that house, the house is empty, we track them down and we try to get a deed from them. And if the deal makes sense, that's what we do these days.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, and you don't hear that a lot, the pre-foreclosures. So that's really cool. The way that you guys track the pre-foreclosures and you go out and do that. So what are you doing right now in your business? Are you pretty much just doing the same thing? You're still tracking the pre-foreclosures and
We do the same thing. In fact, today's my day to go through my list. Last night, my VA pulled my list of all of the latest notices of default in the 2 counties that I work. I'll go through that list. I'll pop over to PropStream, check out the loan information, find out a little bit about it, how long they've owned it, how much equity it's got, what the interest rate is on the loan. Where is it in relation to the main corridor through the 2 counties? I don't like to get too rural. Those are too hard to sell. I'll go through, kick out the ones that aren't good, and I'll put together my map for tomorrow, and I'll hit the road in the morning, and I'll drive foreclosures. That's what I do every Thursday.
okay. And do you just target the town that you're in, or do you move outside of your area a little bit into the county or into other counties, or what are you doing as
We
far as
do
your
two
target?
counties. 2 counties usually gives us enough. Any given week, I'll have somewhere between 8 and 15 in my final. Okay, those are worth pursuing, and I can go out and do those. And we, on average, we'll buy a house for every 43 doors we knock. So typically, that'll give us our one deal a month.
That's good.
That's enough. And we're actually in the upper. I mean, I can throw a rock and hit Missouri. So we're in the upper northwest corner of Arkansas. So the bottom of Washington County, Fayetteville area, Springdale area, that's about an hour from me. So I drive about an hour south and then right around where I live. But that corridor, that's what I stay on.
Well, what would you say your population is in those counties that you work?
Oh gosh, in the two counties, probably six, 700,000. I just read an article today about Bentonville. That said Bentonville, the median income in Bentonville, the city in Benton County, is over $93,000 a year. The median income in California for the whole state's only $91,000 a year. This place has grown over 53% since 2010 because there's so many big industries here. Walmart's here, JB Hunt's here, Tyson Chicken's here, and we get, I can't remember the numbers, 20, 25 new people a day move to this area. It's a super, super growing area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
huge.
I like that, and I like how you know, and you said this on the last show too, that it takes 43 properties to
Right.
buy a deal,
Yep.
and that's the kind of information Travis and I we work hard trying to pin down how many PPC leads it takes to get a deal, and so I know that's great information because if you know that it takes 43 deals, then you know how to scale your business if you want to do more.
Yeah, and
You
that's
just,
super important when you have something where you're spending money, like you're talking about with pay per click. You're paying a lot of money per click for that. And it was the same thing when we ran radio. We ran radio the first 3 years. We just stopped radio before we left on our trip, and we just didn't pick it up when we came back. As we, I don't say wind down. I mean, I'm getting old. I'm not stopping yet, but we're looking at some other things right now. But as far as sub two stuff and that sort of thing, foreclosures are still the way to go. They really are.
yeah, it's good stuff. We Travis and I we were talking just the other day about how we're trying to track all of our different lead sources and our postcard phone number and our you know our
It's
PPC and
it's so over it. You can overcomplicate this business so much, and I love how William just simplifies everything, and it's still the best. What William could do right now is he could go and get AI and have AI pull this debt rate records for him and pull the data, but instead he's doing what's always worked for him, and it's simple. Get a human, have him go through the county records and understand the county and what he's looking for, put it on a list for him, and then William can go in and he's not putting in a lot of work. I mean, as far as conversations go, right? You're not having like thousands and thousands of conversations a month.
I'm telling you, no, no. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I haven't looked today. That's next on my calendar after I get off this call. But I'll look and I'll see how many new notices of default were filed since last Wednesday in Washington and Benton County, and I'll go through those and kick out the ones that have 6 or 7% loans, or the ones that don't have any equity, or the ones that are in areas I don't want to buy. And the ones that are left, I'll make a map and I'll drive those tomorrow and try to have conversations with those people. So at most, I'm looking at 40, 50 conversations a month if they all answer the door. And you and I know that's not going to happen. So, but I'll leave my leave behind with them, and I'll put them on a postcard campaign, and they'll get a postcard until the auction, and that's really it. So, yeah, I work, the most I work is on Thursdays. That's my drive day, and I'll typically work 5 or 6 hours that day, depending on how many I've got to drive. But the rest of the time, there's not much to do really.
How do you like I seen your post on Facebook, it was something along the lines of it seems like I'm stalking you. I see all your posts. I guess Facebook just suggests it to me and knows I like it. But for real, so you posted something about a gun, if somebody's got to watch out, I'll shoot you type sign, no trespassing. Are you
Oh
still going
yeah,
to knock?
yeah,
So I
yeah.
got to ask you, are you still going to knock, William? Do you still
I
knock?
will. I will. I'm not up there to sell anything. I'm pretty non-threatening. If I go door knocking, I'm going to wear what I wear most any day: a t-shirt, a pair of shorts, pair of sandals. Other people go up to the door. I feel like I'm just going up there. I'm going up there to try to help. I'm not threatening. I'm not, sneaking around. I go straight to their door and knock on it. So,
What do you
yeah.
say?
I say the same thing to every person in foreclosure. If Travis, if you're in foreclosure and I knock on your door, you open your door, I'm going to say, "Hey, is Travis home?" And you'll say, "That's me." and I'll say, Travis, my name's William. I'm here today because I understand the bank's trying to take your house. They've hired lawyers to help them do it. And I'm just here today to see if there's anything I can do to help. Okay.
Wow.
That
So good.
shocks most people, you know. They say, well, what do you mean help? Well, what do you want to do? Do you want to get rid of your house? You want to give it back to the bank? Do you want to keep it? And of course, most people say they want to keep it. So then we'll start a conversation about, okay, you want to keep it? Have you talked to the bank? Well, no. Well, why don't we sit down at the kitchen table and call the bank and have a conversation with them and see what we can do to get you to be able to keep your house. Okay, that starts the conversation. That gets me inside the house at the kitchen table. Now, where we go from there, who knows? If I can help them, you know, the average homeowner doesn't know the words loan modification or partial claim or any of those things, but I know how to ask those questions. You know, I'm sitting here with Travis. I see Travis, looks like Travis got an FHA loan. Does he qualify for a partial claim? You know, can we talk? Oh, I don't know. Well, can you get me to a supervisor that can help us with that? So I'll ask all those questions. And we've helped people before that had been told, I'm sorry, you either need to pay it or you're going to have to get out of the house. But we got them fixed up. So if we can do that, we will. Now, if Travis, if you don't qualify for anything, and I've spent a few hours over several days trying to help you, and you're at the very end and you know you're going to have to get rid of your house, who's got a better chance of you dealing with them, me or so and so that sent 1,000 postcards that's never helped you do anything?
Yeah, that's just coming out of the woodwork saying, "Hey, you want to sell your house? Let me buy it. All I want to do is buy it."
That's
I know
right.
you. Yeah.
And most
Oh man.
investors lead with that. You know, well, 2/3 of your people don't want to sell their house. They want to stay. So we got to have something for them. So we try to help them keep it if we can. And if it just doesn't work out, then we're there to be plan B. You know, the name of our company is Plan B. And that's what we tell them. Hey, when they tell me at the door, I got it taken care of, I say, that's amazing. I'm so glad to hear it. Here's my card. Give me a call. We want to be your plan B. Things don't work out. So that's how we do it.
Beautiful. David, you want to comment on any of that? You're muted.
Yeah.
We all go through it.
Sorry. You asked the question that I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask what do you say when you get to the door? You know, that was the thing is you know, how do you open it up and how do you get things going?
Keep it really simple. You know, you just person to person. You know, I'm not there to make a deal. I'm there to help at first, you know, and if I can, I will. And don't expect payment from them. I'm not a foreclosure consultant, but I know a few things. I can ask their lender and see what we can do. And it doesn't take long usually. I'm usually if we do that, I'm usually at their house for an hour on the phone with the lender. That's really all it takes.
What happens if I'm new though, William, and I want to do this, and I'm willing to help and talk to the lender, but I don't know what to say, and I want to help, but I don't know how to help.
Well, it doesn't take you long to get educated. I mean, you can probably go right now to Google or Chat GPT and say, okay, I'm in foreclosure. What programs are available for me? Chat GPT can probably spit that stuff out for you. But I mean, like we put together a list of things, just like 14 things you can do to stop a foreclosure. And we work down the list to things like TROs or, you know, bankruptcy. We don't recommend people file bankruptcy, but it's an option to delay it if that's what you need. If you're waiting on a bonus from work, or you know you're waiting on your aunt to wire some money out of her trust fund or whatever it may be, and you just need a few extra days, yeah, there's some things you can do. But get educated on what the options are, and then just get on the phone with the lender. What would you do if you were in foreclosure? Man, if you were in foreclosure and you had no idea what to do, if you were an action oriented type person and you were motivated, you'd get on the phone with that lender and try to explore, even if you didn't know what to ask for, what options are available for me? Is there anything out there? Is there any programs you can talk to me about? You'd find a way to have that conversation. Well, if you're new, first educate yourself. There's plenty of education. YouTube University's got a ton of stuff. But otherwise, man, just get on the phone and just try to have a conversation with that lender and see what you can do.
I like that. So I definitely agree with you, but I know if I search subject to on YouTube, William, there's gonna be a lot of stuff pops up.
There's a
How do
lot of
I
stuff.
know how do I know what who to listen to?
Well, that's the $1 million question right there. I would say just a real quick, if you want to follow somebody, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If it sounds too easy, that's probably somebody that's suspect. And if they hadn't been around for a very long time, I'm telling you, any primate could go out for the last several years and made money with real estate. But if you're following somebody that's been around for a really long time, they probably know some stuff. Okay. And it ain't like I'm the only one. I've done it for a long time, but there's a whole bunch of other people that's been around for a long time too that you can listen to. That's a tough one, though. That really is. Because there's a lot of everybody is an expert now. You know what I mean? So,
I see it every day. I see like random because Facebook suggests stuff to you. Sometimes I'm interested. Sometimes I'm like, why are you suggesting this to me?
yeah.
And I see a lot of these younger guys and girls that are on YouTube cold calling and some of the stuff that they're doing and they're saying to these sellers, I'm like, wow, like I can't believe some of these people are on like filming their self doing this stuff for one. And then they're trying to get people to come in and join their school groups and join, and they have these rooms full of people cold calling. And I'm just like, man, this seems like a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is way too complicated. It doesn't have to be that way. I'm telling you, 99% of the people I meet can run their business with themselves and a VA or their spouse and them. It just doesn't have to be complicated. And you don't have to buy 100 houses a year. You really don't. I mean, we had actually a thing that we put together. It was the 12 house blueprint by the numbers.
Mhm.
And it just lays out for, because you guys know math don't lie, right? You can buy one house a month, leave your job in 12 months, and within 3 years, you're making over $500,000 a year. And I know inflation and all that stuff, but I'm going to tell you something. If you're the average person, if you can't live on $500,000 a year, even after you give the government 40% of it, you got a pretty high standard of living. So,
Oh yeah. So if I was working a regular job, and I just wanted to say I want to get into real estate and build some wealth and get some properties, I could find my county records, learn what, the foreclosures, what to look for, build my list, like you said, filter out maybe the high interest and the ones that's in the rural areas. Then I
right.
just go and I go put my feet to the dirt and I start looking and knocking and talking to people and providing solutions. And if I do enough of that, I can find my, let's say 40 a month or whatever that might look like for me. And I can just build that up consistently over time to eventually leave my job. But you're not saying just to leave your job and become a sub two master.
Well, I'm not a fan of the burn the boats group, right?
Okay.
I believe that you need to have enough income to replace your job income before you jump ship. So yeah, I'm a little more strategic in what I try to teach people. When somebody tells me, "Well, I did one deal, I'm quitting my job," I said, "Well, I don't know if that's a really good idea. It might be 6 months before you do another one. Mama might not be too happy in the meantime. Your kids might not be too happy in the meantime." Uh, but if you take the approach that I did, listen, I had been in the restaurant industry for 20 years. I worked 70 hours a week. Most of you guys know my story. I was burnt out. I was tired. I couldn't see myself doing that for another 40 years before I retired. And I knew something had to be different. I only have a ninth grade education. So, man, I didn't have a lot of options out there. I had to do something. I bought a Carlton Sheets course. I lowered what we needed. We sold our house. We moved into a smaller apartment. We cut our expenses to the bone. And as soon as I started bringing in enough investment income to pay our bills, that's when I quit my job. Okay. I'd been doing it for about a year by then. I knew how to generate leads. I knew how to close deals. So I knew I had some predictability. And I think that's a smart way for people to do it today. I tell you, some of the stuff I see going on in Facebook and all these groups out there is just crazy. And I think that those chickens are going to come home to roost here in the next couple of years. I think we're already seeing some of it, but I think it's going to be a bad situation here in the next little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. There's just a lot of bad actors out here, and not all of them's on YouTube doing videos. A lot of them's cold calling you and trying to sell you crazy deals and locking
That's right.
sellers up under contract on these crazy novation deals and that should have never been listed with. The other day I went to a house that's on the market, William. It's on the market fully retail. And I
Mhm.
go into this house and there's kitty litter everywhere. It smells like animals. I mean, it looks like one of our houses. So I get to talking with the agent, trying to figure out more information. And guess what? There's an out-of-state investor in the
Mhm.
deal, and it's a novation.
Oh boy.
And the lady that's living there, they don't, it's not contingent. It's not listed as contingent, but it's contingent. She has nowhere to go. There's no plan in order for her. They're just fly by their seat of their pants, is what they're doing. They're hoping somebody gives a good offer. They have no offers. The agent's still texting me. It's been over
Yeah.
2 weeks in one of the hottest counties in our market. So
Yeah.
that's my problem with what you're saying is there's a lot of people teaching straight BS. It's not, and that's why we like you and bring you on here, man.
Well, the problem with that is as states become more sensitive to the stuff that's going on, you're going to see more and more legislation. I mean, I'm afraid that somehow, well, I mean, you've got a combination of some things. And if there's any agents in here right now, I apologize for what I'm going to say, but it's just the truth. Between the government, who more and more every day want to interfere with your business, and the NAR, which their purpose right now is to stop any real estate transaction from happening that doesn't have an agent involved in it. I'm afraid between those two, they're going to legislate real estate transactions between non-licensed people out of business if we don't stop some of this stuff. I don't know what the solution is. I sent out an email this morning to my email list talking about, and if you guys are on it, you probably got it. Uh, and I mentioned a guru by name and a strategy by name because it's public record what's going on with it. I mean, I'm not outing him in any way, and I don't have anything personal against him. But there's some problems with that business model. And I've had more responses from that email from people that are like, hey, I'm so glad. The majority of them are, hey, I'm glad you're talking about this. We need to talk about it. But if we don't start talking about that stuff and trying to do something about it, we're all going to be out of business. So, you got to, when you see something that's wrong, you've got to say something about it. And
Yeah.
so many people just don't. They just look the other way. Oh, well, if I can make some money from it, I don't really care. But it's really harming our industry.
Yeah, that email that you sent out, I read it. I sent it over to David. And it was talking St. Louis, right? The St. Louis
Yep.
situation. And
Yep.
let's talk about that a little bit, guys. I think that that's important. I mean, I kind of got the understanding that there's a coach involved. The coach
Yeah.
is teaching a method. One
Mm-hmm.
of the coach's students went out, did a bunch of deals with this method, and maybe didn't do things totally up to par the way he should have, right? And now the attorney general in the city has kind of got a magnifying glass on the whole situation.
Well,
Is
they're
that
looking
right?
at the student and the attorney general in the article. And I didn't reference the article, and I should have. I didn't put a link to the actual article. But the attorney general for the state of Missouri said they have opened a separate second investigation into the coach specifically and how that model applies to Missouri law. So that's a whole other thing right there.
Was it raps? Was he doing creative raps? Is that what he was doing?
No, what they're doing, it's a model. Well, it's called slow flips, is what it's called, and the model is, and I base some of this not just on the article, but my experience. I'm in their free Facebook group. I look at a lot of things when they come along and say, "Oh, is this a viable option for some stuff we could do?" But their model is to buy houses super cheap in typically C, D neighborhoods because it's tough out there to buy a house for 15, 20, $25,000 right now. I mean, the neighborhoods you have to go into generally to make that happen. So we buy a house, let's say for $30,000, and then we sell it for 90,000. That's the model in a nutshell. Buy it for 30, sell it for 90. And the house that you're buying for 25 or 30, isn't worth 90. On its best day, it's not worth 90. And that was a specific thing I saw this coach address on a call. I mean, himself, he did this. He said, somebody said, well, what do you do when somebody questions your sales price? And they say, there's a house down the street fixed up for sale for 60,000. And I quote here, he said, I tell them we're selling the financing. The house comes with the loan. If they want to buy that one, they can go get a loan or pay cash. If they want to buy my house, they're going to pay 90,000 for it. So you're already selling to somebody buying in those neighborhoods. And you and I have been doing this long enough to know typically those people have the least options of anyone, or they would be buying a nicer house in a nicer neighborhood. So these people have the least options of anyone. They're buying a house that's already cheap, but they're having to pay 1.5 or 2 times the value of that house. And many times these houses are in less than good condition. Some of them aren't even livable. And this is the problem they ran into in St. Louis. Houses with holes in the roof and no working plumbing or no electrical and things like that. Now, Travis, David, you and I, we know that it's fine to sell a house like that to a contractor or maybe even a landlord type that's going to fix it up and rent it out. But for an owner occupant, for a consumer, that's a big problem. You have to give them a habitable house. And this fella wasn't doing it. It's been cited for it numerous times. So it's a business model, and it's just not a good one, in my opinion. And, that's why I wrote what I wrote. When this came up, it concerns me because it's going to impact all of us.
Yeah. It is. I see it all the time, and I know you're loud about it too. I'm not loud as you are. I should be, but like all this dirty title stuff that's
Right.
popular right now. And
Yep.
I think if you specialize in something like William specializes in stuff too, and you do things the right way, and you understand how things work, and you understand people, that's one thing. But if you're just out here trying to make a quick buck, and you think this is the next thing for you, it's probably not. Would you agree? I know you. How do you feel about that?
Well, the dirty title stuff, my big problem with the dirty title industry as it is right now, if you've been in this industry for any period of time, they're always, not always, but a lot of times you're buying distressed property. There's a title issue. There's a loan that was paid off 20 years ago that a satisfaction was never recorded. Maybe there's an IRS lien that eats up all the equity. And you fix that stuff. I thought for years that's just stuff you ran into. But these guys, they've turned this into a new business model. Everybody in the world's an expert on it in the last year. And it's become a really big thing, man. This is going to be another problem down the road. But listen, there are people who have problems with sub two. I have people every day that tell me, man, you're defrauding the bank. You're not letting the bank know. Listen, if the bank called me tomorrow and said, I know you've been making Travis's payments. I know you bought that house and you left his loan in place, I'd say I sure did. Travis couldn't make his payments. We caught up the back payments. We're making the payments on this house until we find somebody that can get a new loan. Now, do you want the house back, or do you want me to keep making Travis's payments? That's exactly what I would say to them. I would not try to hide it. I don't try to use trust where you're the initial beneficial interest and then I've got a new beneficial interest document and I'd show them the one where you were if they called me and all those shenanigans. I don't play all that stuff. I'm not going to let the bank know what we're doing. I'm not going to ask them if we can do it. I'm just going to make the payments for you. There are a million people out there right now that can't make their house payment. Their mama's making it for them, or their cousin, or somebody's helping them out right now. And I look at it like this: that's what I'm doing until I can get the house sold down the road. So, people have a problem with all kinds of techniques. To me, when the real problem comes in, is when somebody gets hurt from it. Okay. You can do anything in the world you want to do, but when somebody is injured or harmed or not of the age of consent or whatever the case may be, that's when it becomes a problem. So if I do a transaction with you, Travis, and take your property subject to and make the payments for you, and you can go on about your life, and the bank doesn't have a foreclosure on their hands, and I get to make some money too. That's a win-win-win all the way around.
That's awesome. So yeah, guys, just do the right thing. Do the right thing when you're doing these deals. Stay clean. Reach out to people like William. Did he freeze on me? There he goes. He's
Yeah,
back on my
just
end.
for a second.
No, but yeah, so I got the next question I have. I'd love to have David answer this too. I'd like to hear both of y'all's opinions because y'all's both been around a while and done a lot of these deals. If I'm just getting started, because I've had my rental property, I've had rentals and I hated it, but I'd like to start getting some cash flow every month. So I'm curious for myself even. If somebody's just getting started, they're busy, whether it be their business, they have a job. When I'm looking at opportunities, should I focus on, pretty close to rent ready to bring them on at first? Or, do I want to get a place where I got to do a bunch of work and put a bunch of money into it? Or are these turnkey, almost rent ready properties we're dealing with?
Well, if I'm answering, David, or you
Go
want
ahead,
to?
Wayne.
Our business model is based on nice houses. Uh, I'll do minimal stuff if I need to give it a fresh coat of paint or maybe a little bit of flooring. But if I'm looking to spend more than about 10,000, there better be a truckload of equity. And a lot of times in that case, I'll just retail it if there's that much equity. So I'm looking for a house that's move-in ready. It's very rare for us to even leave it where it needs a little bit of fix up. We're going to make it really nice. I want people to walk in it. Man, I can buy this house with seller financing. I'm in. So that's how I like to do things.
Yeah, as far as buying rental properties and I've always liked to do as much creative finance as I can if I can get sellers to carry. But I've bought a lot of junk in my time over the last 30 years, and I will guarantee you that you won't make the money that you want to make buying junk and trying to do anything with it. It it entices you to buy that $30,000 house and try to rent and try to do things, but you're better off to buy a nice home in a nice neighborhood. You're going to attract a better tenant. It's going to appreciate more. Everything's going to work so much better for you. So I always tell people to buy nice homes in pretty good neighborhoods. They don't have to be A neighborhoods. They can be Bs, maybe even a C here or there, but that's the way that it has to be. And talking about people doing all this crazy stuff, and I've done every kind of creative deal, learning through the years and doing it. And, it's people over profit. So you got to go into this thing thinking about the seller. Okay. If you're going to do one of these deals, you got to think about the seller. I come from the real estate world. I'm a real estate broker and I've done that for, over 20 years. And so you got to think about that. You got to do the seller right. And so Travis and I, we get into a lot of deals and I'll tell Travis, no, we're out. We're not going to do that. I don't want to be involved. That's not the right thing, and I always feel like when you do these types of things and you put people over profit, that the profit comes.
Mhm.
The next deal will come along
That's
and
right.
it'll take care of you if you're doing the right things all the time. So that's probably my greatest advice I can give to anybody out here that's trying to do these deals is, also another thing a guy told me years ago was too sharp, don't cut. And I said, well, what's that mean? So if a deal's too sharp, it don't cut. And what he means is just like you buy this $20,000 house and you sell it to somebody for 80,000, that deal is going to implode.
Mhm.
That is not going to be a good deal. It's going to fall apart and it's going to be a crap show. You're going to have to take it back, foreclose, whatever, And so those deals too sharp don't cut. So you don't want to do people that way.
Yep.
It,
Sorry, I got off on a little
no,
little
you're
tangent
good.
there, but that's
That's
It it
I totally agree. I've had people tell me, "Well, you waste all that time trying to help people save their houses." Well, I might waste a couple hours a month. So what? We make an average of over $70,000 per deal we buy through pre-foreclosures. I think I can afford to spend a couple hours a month helping people. People like that, they're just not going to make it in the business, not long term. And it's something you said is absolutely right. It is people over profit. And that's why these remote investors, I invested remote. That's how I got started doing the 12 house blueprint. But if you're going to operate locally, if that's going to be your specialty, and you start screwing people around, you're going to be out of business before you know it. Everybody will know who you are.
uh I appreciate you both so much. I hope you guys know that. And one thing that I will say for everybody listening right now is when I first started, I made sure I put myself around people like David and like William that have been in the game a while. You know why? Because, like he was saying, it just because you've been in this business a few years, that means nothing to me. I want to know that you can sustain this. How long can you sustain doing sub two deals? How long can you sustain doing novation deals? Then talk to me. That's what, so you guys, thank you guys so much for doing this because I know you guys don't have to. William could be in Europe somewhere. David could be wherever the hell he wants to be too. So it means a lot to me that you guys come on here and give back the way that you do. And because there's so much bad actors, I'm so happy that there's people like you guys. I really am. Like it means a lot to probably everybody on here. I know we got a small group today. I know we got some questions. John has a question. If the
Sure.
market is dry, where are you looking for sub two deals that everyone else is stepping over? I think we already know the answer to that.
Well, I mean, I'm looking for if pre-foreclosures didn't give me enough leads in this market that I'm in right now. And remember, everything is local specific. The news can try to tell you it's nationwide, but it's not. It's local specific. So this might be different where you are. But I know that 2 years ago, the average days on market in my market were less than 30. Now they're almost 120. So there's a lot more people with MLS listings that are motivated to sell. So if pre-foreclosures weren't giving me the leads that I needed to buy the number of houses I wanted, my next stop right now would be MLS high days on market listings. And some people may disagree with this, but this is how I do it. I'm not going to call that agent. I'm going to go direct to seller. I'm going to say, hey, Bob, I'm going to send them a postcard or a letter. I'm going to say, hey, I noticed your house has been on the market now for over 3 months. Do you want to get it sold this week? If you do, give me a call. We're looking to buy. And yeah, I'll take care of that agent, but the agent's not going to present my offer in a very favorable way. I want Bob to call me or call the agent and go, hey, this guy wants to buy my house and I really need to sell it. Because a lot of times agents don't know how bad that seller needs to sell. That seller may not tell the agent they're about to go into foreclosure or something like that. They just may not want to divulge that information. So that letter or that card, we usually get a response from the people that really need to sell. So that'd be the next thing that I did. And then I would start looking at other things. Remember, we talked earlier in the call about people with drop dead dates, maybe tax sales, maybe something else along those lines, code enforcement stuff. That's that type of thing where somebody's got something pressing, they've got a court date, something's coming down, they need to get something done. So I would start looking through my get to know your courthouse, and most of it's online now, and a lot of places it's free. Start looking around in there. There's just a lot of information on those websites.
Agree. And if it's not free, you should learn it and go pay it because
That's
most
right.
people won't pay the price.
Yep, that's a big filtering agent right there. Most investors are too cheap, especially new ones, to pay that fee every month or every year. So if you're paying, you're already in top level there. So yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
David put me onto the court records a few years back because I was doing it so long. And I look back and I noticed, a lot of my leads and deals were like probate, tax liens, and a lot of these were county records, and I didn't really, pay attention to it. I was pulling lists on Deal Machine, PropStream, and doing it that way, and it was, that's cool and all, but it's a lot outdated. Once you understand, like daily, I can go into my county and find fresh leads.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
List services I use PropStream every day. I'm looking at, like I said, when I go through my foreclosure list here after we get off this call, I'm going to be using PropStream to see when they bought it, what their loan information is, and that sort of stuff. But man, that stuff. If you're relying on that, you're way, way, way. Other people are way ahead of you. That's why my VA goes in on Tuesday nights. They pull everything up to date through last night. I've got the latest filings at the courthouse. I knock on people's doors sometimes and they don't even know. I have to show
Mhm.
it to them and tell them about it. And they'll say, my house isn't in foreclosure. And I'll say, well, this was filed at the courthouse. What? And they'll act like they didn't know. Sometimes I've said, well, you knew you weren't making the payment, right? Well, yeah, I knew that. Well, okay. So this is what happens after you don't make your payment for 3 or 4 months. They start this process, and we'll educate them on that. So yeah, it's fun knocking on doors.
I, I've knocked on doors, not for houses. I've never knocked on house. I've left door hangers. I've talked to neighbors, but I've never actually knocked on the door.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should test myself a
You
little bit.
should. You
My
should. I mean,
company.
even people are always, man, I'm afraid somebody's going to beat me up or shoot me. I've been doing this for, gosh, 30 years, and I've never had anybody threaten to kill me. I've never had anybody beat me up. And part of it, like I said, is remember what I told you guys earlier. Man, I don't go in a suit. I don't drive a fancy car. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt and some sandals, and I'm just standing there, and I'm just a, hey, is Travis home? Hey, Travis, my name's William. I'm here today because I understand the bank's trying to take your house, and I want to see if there's anything I can do to help. Now, you might be mad already, but when somebody says, I'm here to see if I can do anything to help, I mean, it's hard to stay mad at that person. You're shocked first. And it's like, well, how can you help me? Or what can you do?
Yeah,
You know,
I love it,
I'm,
man.
I'm not beating on your door saying, hey, I want to buy your house. You know,
I think that, calling probates, doing tax liens, doing foreclosures, that's so much better than just pulling these lists and cold calling everybody, bothering people. I mean, you're bothering people either way, right? But at least bother people who probably deep down need you to help them,
yeah, those people
somebody.
absolutely need help.
Yeah. I wake
I
up
mean,
every day thinking that, that's what motivates me is I wake up saying, well, there's somebody out there that needs my help. They need me to buy their house. That's what's got me going all these years.
and I'll tell you, a lot of people still they say, well, you can just text them, or you can just mail to them, or you can just sure you can, but I'm going to tell you what a text or a card doesn't get you. If I roll up on one of those houses tomorrow and that house is empty, they've already moved out. Guess what? That just took them out of the 70% that want to keep the house. They've already took off. My job at that point is to track them down and get a deed from them if that's a deal worth having, right? And if I can do that, and there's services that, I mean, you can use True People Search, or we use a service called IDI. It's a pay service, but it gives you a lot of information. But that's my next job. Those vacant houses, and you'll never find that out if you're texting and mailing cards. Those
Hmm.
vacant houses are the gold in pre-foreclosures because they've moved on. They don't care.
He's gave you guys the game. I mean, he told you pull the county, and some of you might already know this stuff, but it's good to hear it again because a lot of times we hear things and we still don't do it. So this is your message to go do it if you've heard this before. But just go out there, pull your county records, start reaching out to people by knocking on their door, drive around, right, and then start having conversations and helping people. And if you get into a rut, and you don't want to bother, William, David, and Travis, it's not bothering us. You can, but if use ChatGPT, ask it the questions. What can I do for this person? What's the options they have? Sit down with them and figure it out together. I promise you, there's been times I've done deals with people. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was sitting down with them, figuring out what together, and they weren't alone. And that matters to those people
Yeah.
that you're just doing it with them.
Yeah, those people they're used to only hearing from people that will have a handout that want money. Bill collectors, because I promise you, when people quit paying their house payment, they're not paying their car payment, they're not paying their utilities. You'll see that a lot of times knocking on these doors, shut off notices for cable or electric or water. You see all of that stuff. And I remember, I'll never forget this, calling, trying to get in touch with a guy one time. And his voicemail message was, hey, this is Bob. If I owe you money, I'll pay you when I can. That was his voicemail message. But these people, I mean, they need help. They need somebody to come and say something to them other than you owe me money or can I buy your house? So if you can help them, then that's great. If you can't and they just want to move on, then you're there to put on your investor hat and make a deal.
It's good
Yeah,
stuff,
definitely.
man.
Yeah, and people cocoon up in these situations. So, if you think you're going to reach them with a text or a postcard, they got all kinds of stuff. So they're not answering phones, they're not reading mail. And you're right, you go to these houses and stuff stacked up and disconnect notices and, everything in the world is on the door. So trying to talk to them face to face is definitely the best way, I think, to get in touch with them
Yeah,
if they're still in the house.
for sure. Yep. And if the house is vacant, don't leave without knocking on the neighbor's door saying, and this is how somebody asked me the other day, what's your approach on that? How do you handle that? And I say, I'm there to see Travis. So I'm going to, as far as I'm concerned, I'm Travis's buddy and I'm trying to help him. So when I knock on the neighbor's door, I don't go, hey, my name's William and I'm with Plan B Properties and I stopped by today to see. I don't get into all that. I'll knock on the door. And when somebody opens it, I'm going to go, hey, my name's William. I stopped by to see Travis. Does he not live there anymore? That's how I approach it. I'm going to get a lot more information that way than being somebody, some slick investor from some company trying to track Travis down. So you don't have to, spill everything. I'm there to see Travis, and that's the way I present it. Now, oh yeah, I think he and his wife moved in with her mother because they couldn't afford their house anymore. Well, do you happen to know what her name is or where she lives? Well, I think they live over on B Street or whatever the case. You'll learn a lot of stuff talking to the neighbors.
Neighbors know a lot.
Yeah.
More than
They know
what they say they know sometimes.
they know it, and they love to tell it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, we appreciate you, man. I know we're time's coming up. I know you got things you got to do. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody want to talk to us?
Yeah. We'll
We've
answer
been
some
up
questions.
here talking y'all's heads off. I mean, y'all's in the comments. Jared, you might be at work, Jared. I don't know. I know you're listening in. We appreciate you.
No, I'm just got off work. I was glad. I ended up getting out an hour early, so I was able to get into the call like 15 minutes late, but I was still here. No, I just appreciate you all very much, especially Travis and Coach, kind of taking out a time each week just to spill some beans to us and give us a little bit more knowledge. And William as well. I know it's not easy to come on here and talk with new people sometimes, but it's been awesome to kind of hear your breakdown about things. Because especially as someone just been in the game for about a year, it's amazing getting to listen to you and Coach all the time, especially.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
glad you're on here, and I'm honored that these guys asked me back a second time. I start talking, and I just keep talking. So I may talk too much. I don't know. I love real estate. I always have.
This is the third one with me and you. So
Is it?
I had you just on my thing that I was doing. Then we had you on this. So the next one will be the fourth. And we're just gonna keep doing it, man.
That's fine,
We
man. I'll
can't.
come back. Yeah.
Well, you can't go to Europe so much, and you can come back sooner.
I want to tell you, we're already talking about our next trip. We loved Malta. I think we're going to go there and stay a couple of months next time. It was great.
Wait, I don't even know where that is. Where?
It's off the coast of Italy. It's about an hour flight. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's amazing. The places real estate can take you.
I'm telling you, and anybody that knows my pedigree, I quit school in ninth grade. Man, I was born to two teenagers in Mississippi in 1962. Gosh, by all rights, I should have been on drugs or an alcoholic living in a trailer somewhere for most of my life. But I don't know. Real estate just got me here. So
There you
I'm
go.
very thankful for it. And if I can help anybody else do the same thing, I'm glad to do it.
Where do they reach you, man?
You can find me at williamtingle.com. I've also got a YouTube channel that we're going to start doing some new videos. I haven't done a video in several months, but I think we got over 1,000 videos on the YouTube channel already. If you search William Tingle, you'll find me pretty much anywhere.
I used to wash dishes, and I used to sit and listen to your YouTube show. Before I hadn't done one deal yet. I'd be sitting there washing dishes and listening to you talk about sub two. So it's really cool, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, we appreciate you. What is it?
What's that crazy sub two stuff, man? Nobody's going to do that. That's what I said when I first heard about it. Nobody's going to do that. What kind of idiot would do that? And then a guy did, and I'm like, man, I'm hooked. You know. But yeah, just let me know if you guys want to do it again. I'll be glad to come back. We can talk about other coaches. We can talk about crappy business models. We can talk about whatever y'all want to.
We appreciate it. David, you want to lead us out here today, man? You got anything else you want to mention and say?
No, man, I appreciate William being here. He's like me, straightforward, old school, and that's what gives you longevity in this business is keeping it simple and keeping it real with people. And I'm sorry, I kind of been muted when we started this thing. My smoke detector battery started chirping just as soon as we started. But anyway,
I hear
thank
you.
Yeah, thank you for being here, and everybody, thanks for being on the call with us. And you've got we'll put William's information down in the description. And if you want to check us out and what we have to offer, our mastermind is smallmarketrei.com. So you can go there and check us out. And if you have any questions, feel free to direct message us. We'd be glad to answer any questions. And if you need anything from William, I'm sure he'd be glad to talk to you about anything. So thank you for being here. On behalf of Travis Goodwin, William Tingle, I'm Coach. Find a problem, get a payday. Thank you. Okay, there it is. I told you some really great stuff. William never disappoints when we have him on the show. He talks about some really great stuff. He's very opinionated. He's old school. He keeps things simple. And that is part of the reason that he's had the longevity of 30 plus years in the business, is keeping things simple and treating people the way you would want to be treated. So hope you enjoyed it. Always remember, you can check us out at smallmarketrei.com. That's our mastermind. You can go there, fill out an application if you'd like to be part of our community and you would like to have access to people that can teach you a lot of these things that you're seeing here on our videos. So check us out, smallmarketrei.com, and thank you again for watching.